What's up, everybody? So, more and more continues to come out about Sam Bankman-Fried and the massive amount of fraud that his company and the people involved in that company were committing, and the misappropriation, if you want to call it that, of FTX users' funds. And this story came out from Cointelegraph just a couple of days ago. And it is talking about how $400 million of FTX users' money was used to invest in an obscure firm called Modulo Capital. Modulo Capital, it took me a little bit to actually find information on these guys, but I believe it's a company, I don't know if it's based in Portugal, but the website is in Portuguese. You have to translate it, and you can read a little bit about their company. But first, we're just going to go over this article quickly. U.S. prosecutors alleged that SBF's Modulo investment was likely made using misappropriated money from FTX depositors. And this seems to be the case with everything that Sam was doing from a finance standpoint. He was basically taking people's money and he was investing it in all kinds of things, being a degenerate, and same thing with the people at his company. Authorities in the United States might have discovered yet another possible component of Sam Bankman-Fried's cryptocurrency empire, and I don't really know if that's the right thing to call it. I believe it's probably more like a fraud empire, because that's more accurate to describe what was going on. U.S. federal prosecutors have alleged that Sam Bankman-Fried has used money from the FTX exchange to invest in the venture capital VC firm Modulo Capital, according to the New York Times, who I believe originally broke the story. As previously reported, SBF's hedge fund and FTX sister firm Alameda Research invested a total of $400 million in Modulo in 2022, which became one of the most significant investments by SBF. The funding has drawn particular attention from regulators due to Modulo, which is, again, a relatively unknown firm, raising a substantial amount of capital during the challenging times for the cryptocurrency market. And if you've been in cryptocurrency over the past couple of years, you will know that 2022 is particularly brutal for cryptocurrency holders in general. I know the past month has been actually really decent, especially for even just the majors, as well as some of the other lesser known cryptocurrencies that have seen hundreds of, like a few 100% return. I know that Aptos and LCX, which LCX is, I believe, an exchange token with ties to CBDCs, has seen similar returns, but Bitcoin has done very well over this past month. But if you look at it on a year by year basis, it has just been brutal for everybody, just taking a beating over the past year. We are seeing a little bit of appreciation here, and I know that a lot of people are talking about a potential breakout and heading to the upside. I'm still not entirely sold on that, but that could be the case. However, 2022 was brutal for cryptocurrency in general, especially the altcoins. They got destroyed. So Modulo is coming under a lot of scrutiny for receiving such a large amount of money from the now defunct FTX and Alameda Research. According to the latest findings by SBF's investigators, the Modulo investment was made likely using criminally appropriated funds from FTX customers that had deposited with the exchange. The prosecutor said that Modulo had become an important part of the investigation. FTX lawyers are now reportedly eyeing Modulo's assets as they scramble to recover the billions of dollars for repaying their customers, investors, and creditors. I really hope that they make whole the FTX users first and foremost, as they're the ones that are left holding the largest bag right now. They are the ones that have been hit the hardest, and just simply because they are average people. And I know that apart from the cryptocurrency market getting hit very hard, inflation has been extremely hard on the consumer, and it would be nice to see these people made whole again, as many of them are probably out tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or millions of dollars. So far, the whereabouts of SBF's $400 million investment remain unclear. And that was kind of interesting because if you go to the company, they're not entirely clear about exactly where they are putting their money. With their investment philosophy, they more or less just state that they're long-term investors, that they try to do their due diligence, they try to buy in early, they try to get the most out of their money. And they discourage short-term speculation. They're more or less long-term investors, and they work closely with the people that are investing with them. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly where this $400 million ended up, and I really do hope that they can find out where that is, so that again they can make the people who lost out money on using the exchange whole again. Modulo Capital was founded in March 2022 by 3 former executives at Jane Street, a New York-based firm that would once employ Sam Bankman-Fried, go figure, and Alameda CEO Caroline Ellison, the other degenerate trader from the Sam Bankman-Fried's co there. One of the founders, Duncan Ringaze-Yu, I'm probably butchering that name, was reportedly only 2 years out of college. Another Modulo co-founder, Zhang Yong Zhang, known as Lily, was former Wall Street trader with some ties to SBF. Modulo Capital is also known to run its operations from the same Bahamian condo community where SBF resided. So it seems that birds of a feather do flock together. And I'm not surprised by this. And I think that as the investigation goes on, we're going to see this is more or less the case with everything. That people very close to Sam Bankman-Fried and Alameda Research were the ones that were receiving FTX clients' money. And it will be a messy, messy thing to get that money back for the people who got burned. The news comes amid U.S. Commissioner for Commodity Futures Trading Commission Chrissy Goldsmith Romero questioning the due diligence work done by VCs and money managers who funded FTX. Why did they turn a blind eye to what should have been really red flashing lights? Romero asked. I think that the blind eye was turned willfully. I don't think that, I don't think there was much thought into it at all. Either a lot of them were very closely tied to what was going on, or they were just happy to take the money or happy to fund the money in the idea that they would get a really good return simply out of greed, not really caring exactly what was going to be happening with this or where the money had come from originally. Previously, the Deputy Prime Minister of Singapore admitted that the government-owned investment firm Temasek faced reputational damage due to their investment in FTX. And I know that's the case with a lot of institutions and other famous people who were investing with FTX and Alameda Research. They have had their reputations burned and have also lost out millions of dollars. But I think, like I was saying, as the investigation goes forward, you're going to see more and more that this was the case, that people were very closely tied together when it comes to this network of fraud. And I think that they're going to find more and more money tucked away in these obscure firms, these other kinds of firms that are kind of hard to find and find out things about. Their team is they're not new to the markets in general. So if you go to their website here and you look at their team, you have people that have been in the market since the early 2000s, a master's in economics. Another one of them has specializing in business administration from Harvard Business School, in addition to participating in continuing education programs and asset allocation at Wharton. A lot of people that work at this Modulo firm are very, very well informed about the market, and it would be remiss to say that they didn't know or had the knowledge to be able to do proper due diligence when it comes to finding out or even just questioning exactly where this money was coming from Sam Bankman-Fried. And I believe that they have been pulling assets from all over the place. There's been like a half dozen bank accounts that have been seized with a couple $100 million in total there. I know there's been several $1 million in cryptocurrency seized from several other wallets that he's had. And as well too, I think there was several $100 million that was seized from Robinhood, the other exchange there that he had put money on as well. And so it will be a giant mess to find a way to sell those assets or get those assets back to the people who deserve it most. Those are the FTX users. Binance also shared the exact same article actually. So nothing really new to report there. I really do hope people take this as a lesson to stay away from centralized exchanges in general. Anything centralized in the cryptocurrency market is antithetical to cryptocurrency and decentralized finance. I try to tell it to everybody that I deal with when it comes to cryptocurrency, and anybody that I bring into the space that's new to it. I try to gear them towards a more peer-to-peer way of doing things. You can use local Bitcoins. It's a website that allows you to meet up with people and buy and sell cryptocurrency peer-to-peer. Many of them do deal with in cash if you'd like to stay completely anonymous. And as well too, you can utilize cryptocurrency ATMs, which are very easy to use, and many of them offer buying as well as selling options. So I would recommend doing that before going down these kinds of routes and getting into the market and using things like Uniswap if you want to buy and sell cryptocurrencies. And you can also use decentralized financial applications, which are far safer and more secure to use because they involve self-custody. And again, nobody is sitting in a condo somewhere in the Bahamas taking your money and being a degenerate with it and investing it into obscure firms or buying off people in government, both on the Democratic and Republican side, that Sam was doing for the entire time that he was the crypto savior that the people in our space specifically actually tried to portray him as. I know that a lot of people do this thing where they celebritize people in cryptocurrency. These, Sam was one of them. Some of the other founders of other blockchains, they just need to have kind of that as a stamp of approval to have legitimacy, instead of digging into the company itself, looking at the financials when it comes to cryptocurrency projects, looking at the actual project itself, looking at the code. This celebritization of cryptocurrency people needs to stop as well, because I think it's cancer to cryptocurrency and what it is trying to do for the world and for decentralized finance. So just keep an eye on that going forward. This should be a lesson to people. I do hope that the people who got burned by FTX are made whole again, because, regardless whether or not my, opinions about centralization and centralized exchanges, I would like to see these people get their money back. No one deserves to be burned like this. I personally know people that have lost 6 and 7 figures worth of cryptocurrency using the FTX exchange. I tried to warn them not to keep all their money on the exchange, but greed is a very powerful thing. It will make you do things that you shouldn't be doing. And I hope again that people are made whole, because this has turned out to be a gigantic disaster overall for the cryptocurrency market. And it will probably go down as one of the biggest. This is going to continue to grow. And I think that we're going to see more and more stories like this. I'm going to keep an eye on this as it develops, because there's a good chance that he was hiding more and more money across these different kinds of obscure firms. And he's probably got more money tucked away in different wallets. I sincerely hope that Sam goes to jail for the rest of his life. That's where he belongs. I was a little annoyed by him being able to post bail and get out of prison. And I think his family posted $250 million and had put up one of their houses as collateral, which just goes to show you how much money that family has. I mean, they're very, very well off. They're very well tied to government as well. And I think that's got a lot to do with the reasons as why he blew up the way he did. But that's all for that today. If you enjoyed the video, you can leave me a like. Consider sharing this to your friends. And if you want to see more content like this, then consider subscribing to my channel. Until next time, I will see you on the next one.